The darkness is the light, and the light is the darkness. You won't see what you don't want to see, or you won't see what you want to see, especially with your eyes closed. It's like God forbid you wake up one day and remember everything that has been done under the sun, like everybody. You would almost certainly break out in tears. Frantically, you would panic. You wouldn't know how to handle everything you're receiving. Akashic Records. That's what the distractions are for. Think of it as Novocaine. You are now tuned in to the Josie Fuller's talk, blunt talk, you know? Lights. Sorry, it's a lot going on. I'll start with a story. I got a friend who was out one night picking up groceries or whatever, packs of cigarettes, and he noticed an old woman. So he doubled back after getting his preservatives from the store, you know, and he asked the woman if she needed anything. And the woman replied, "Can I use your phone? Let you touch my phone?" You know. On his way to the store, he encountered an elderly lady. It was cold that night, so he thought to himself, "Lord, if I'm meant to help, give me a sign." And no answers came. Movement in. He doubled back after getting his preservatives and asked if she needed anything. And he said right away, "Yeah, you can, but I'll dial the number and I'll just put it on speaker." She agreed. After number 3 times, no answer. He then sent a text with a picture of the girl and said, "She's out here in the cold. You gonna come get her or not?" You know. After that, they sat for 10 minutes conversing about the sky and reasonings. He was probing her mind, trying to figure out what led her to be out there. Yet nothing came of it. So he offered her a ride. And since they couldn't find a place to go, he offered her a ride to his spot. So he brought her back to his spot. So it's my mom's bathroom. So you can use the bathroom, but don't touch anything. And. So she takes a shower. She warms, I guess gets warm, clean, smelling good. Plus red flags at the same time. Now, notice the story. You know, where was I? He came in, noticed her. She was undressed because she was in the shower. So he hangs his head low, trying not to peek, at, secrets. So, and he moves the arrangements, hands her the towel, picks up, the dirty clothes, takes them out, puts them in the wash machine for the girl. Meanwhile, he steps back outside, locks the door. He thinks to himself, what am I doing? If you want me to, God. And, you know, so after that, you know, you know, it presses on, and they end up in a room. He's showing her some things and telling her about life, and trying to see if she has a place to go as well, you know, letting her know that, technically he's not supposed to have company. He's under rules. And he actually tries his best to abide by the rules, but can't. And he actually tries his best to abide by the rules, but can't help helping, you know. There's so many words, so You know, is there laying on the bed. You know, she's about half asleep. She touches his neck. You know, to let him know she's listening or she's still conscious. You know, to the fact, and he's, you know, noticing that she had touched him. She had touched him. You know, multiple times, and he's like, "Look, listen, I'm a whole man in this mug." You know, multiple times, and he's like, "Look, listen, I'm a whole man in this mug." And laying down, getting to know each other. You know, doing it. Moments later, you know, she's asleep. He's, you know, in the garage doing what he does, you know, trying to gather himself, wondering if he did the right thing or whatnot. He notices a stirring later on, you know, and the stirring was the girl in the bathroom, you know, looking for things, you know, kind of mumbling to herself and talking to her dog, you know, from my take of the story. Now, look, listen, I want to explain something to you guys. Put the story on pause. Crazy about to be ready to be just as crazy as the next person, you know? It's lit. It's levels to this whole game. Drink your tea, smoke your blunt, learn to mind your business. You might find some gold, you know? Back to the story. Long story short, because, or say part two in the comments. And hope you're having the best time of your life.